Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gen Z movie reviews. It's a pleasure to be back on. I'm joined by my buddy Luke here, who is a regular on the channel. We also have a very special guest here today. You may know him from his own shows, Two Haas. You might know him from Echo Chamberlain's series he does on YouTube, and the drinker himself. We are joined by Dark Hour. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's great. It's funny because you when you first reached out to me, you were like, "Hey, I don't know if you know who I am," and I was like, "Yeah, I know who you are." So, like, I actually do pay attention. I still consume, like you were saying, I still consume a lot of YouTube. I know a lot of people when they start doing it, kind of stop. And I saw you probably maybe like 4 months ago on, or maybe a little bit more than that on.
Yeah, he had me on twice. The second time he had me on, it wasn't a good situation for me because they were talking about James Bond and Doctor Who. I've never seen anything James Bond, and I've never watched Doctor Who. So it's like, what can we do, right, man?
So, I mean, the very first time I ever streamed was on Drinker's channel. Actually, the first time I ever did anything on YouTube was on his channel. And so I remember basically wanting to like shit myself the whole time. It was like the first time I'm on, and I'm in front of like 10, like it was like 5,000 or 6,000 because it was a happy hour. It wasn't an open bar, and it was like 5,000 or 6,000 people. I was like, shit, I don't know. I wouldn't even expect it. It was he like invited me, and I thought it was gonna be like a members only stream. It turned out to be like on his official channel. I was like, holy shit,
thousands of viewers.
How long have you been like doing YouTube? How long have you been like active channel?
In September, it'll be 3 years. That's when I was first on his channel. Let me just fix this.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it was the first time I was on his channel, and then I made my own channel. My first couple videos were not particularly great, but then I found my way. You know, I eventually found my voice. I realized I'm from New Jersey. I should just embrace the angry Jersey guy instead of
embrace the Jersey.
You know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's why we have, you know, the patron saint of New Jersey right there.
I like your little like Moji character you have behind you. That's cool. Was that custom made for you?
So yeah, one of my subscribers made that. I still owe him money, actually.
Nice.
He only charged me for the parts and stuff for it. Like he wanted to try and make the character, and he sent it to me. It actually, so I'm a jiu-jitsu brown belt. I haven't got my black belt yet, but when the time comes to it, actually the top pops off, and he made a black belt I could put right on it. So
man, it looks pretty good. That's crazy, man. I got
it came out way better than I was expecting, because I was like, I didn't have a 3D print of, like, I didn't have like a 3D image of the thing. It was just a 2D thing, and so he had to, you know, basically do it from that. And it came out way better than I could have ever imagined. It was funny because he couldn't quite get the skin tone right. But so it's really pale, but I was like, I mean,
matches a little bit, right? Nice. That's cool, man.
It's Norman Barud. He's a subscriber of mine.
Nice. Well, shout out to him. That's nice. He made like a 3D model too. I don't know how to do that. I don't know the first thing about that.
I'm not sure if he did it himself or he knows somebody who did it. I don't remember the exact details, but yeah, I think I still owe him like half the money for it.
Nice.
I just it's one of those things.
Sweet, man. Yeah, but thanks for coming on. We're if people aren't too familiar with you, do you want to explain like your martial arts background, because you're pretty familiar with the world of martial arts?
I mean, correct? I can. So I when I was 19, or like I was just about to turn 20. I took up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kind of just out of nowhere. My friend of mine, he wanted to try it, and I was I was really out of shape, like way more out of shape than I am now. And my father had actually passed away from heart complications. It was something he was born with, but I wanted to make sure that I had good cardiovascular health. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Then I took that up. I did that. I've done that for 16 years. In the meantime, I've done a little MMA, a little kickboxing, a little boxing. When I see fit, I don't like to, I was getting a lot of concussions though, because I'm like an idiot. So I get punched in the head a lot.
I think that's unavoidable, man.
Yeah.
That means you're doing something right.
It's part of the job.
And so basically, I've been around the MMA and jiu-jitsu game for, over a decade and a half at this point.
Wow. That's cool, man. It's good. It's good for a man to get into combat sports. That was sort of for me. Like, I don't know. I've always been kind of a confident person, but when I got into boxing 4 years ago, well, I guess 5 years ago, I mean, it really just brings a new side of yourself. You know what I mean? You understand yourself better. You gain confidence. You become a man. I think everybody should get involved in it in some fashion.
I always say I wish I got punched in the face sooner. And because I grew up, you know, like as a teen, like a kid and a teenager, I was always under the impression, oh, you get punched in the face, it's the end of the world. And I found out like it's really not that bad. I mean, obviously, if you get a concussion, that's bad.
Yeah.
But being just punched, it's like, yeah, it hurts, it stings, but it's not the end of the world. And I kind of wish I would have figured that out when I was like 15. It might have changed my life. But you know, I learned that when I was 19 and 19, 20. And you know, it's like it turned out I was tougher than I realized. And I always say that you don't really know a person. Because like obviously, you know, you've sparred with people and I spar with people on a regular basis. I did earlier. You don't really know a person until you've sparred with them, whether it be grappling, striking, whatever it may be, and you see how they react in like when they're the person who's being beaten down, or if they're beating you down.
Yeah,
you can read a lot about a person in that moment.
Yeah, it's crazy how violent and like hateful people could be, you know. And it's like you thought you were cool with them, but nope, you ain't cool with them. Luke
16
here.
years, I've never injured a person. Never injured a person in 16 years.
Well, that's nice. Wow. You're a sweet guy.
Props to you.
Well, it's because it's funny because like, you know, I just the other day I forget who I was rolling with somebody and I put them in a Kimura and I like snapped it real hard, but as I did it, I let go. So what I do is I get it. I know where the point is where I'm like, okay, this would snap, like this would be the end. Like there's no coming back, and I just let go and I just keep going. It's just
wow, dang, that's crazy.
You get used to it after a while. It's not that hard to not hurt a person, to not injure a person. Hurting a person is different from injuring. Injuring is
oh yes, like serious
long-term damage.
Sure.
Hurting is like that stings out.
Well, yeah, that's something funny. Something funny I've noticed about boxing is how like I would rather spar somebody that doesn't that is familiar with boxing even better than me than someone that doesn't know, because I think, you know, there's an awareness for being light and being like not gentle but respectful. And you know, if you just go against somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, they could screw you up. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I've actually most of the times I've been injured in my martial arts journeys over the years was with newer people, because they just do a lot of spazzing and just do random things, and they go into survival mode. You know, when you go into survival mode, you throw caution to the wind. You're full of adrenaline. Your muscles don't really get tired until the end of the round, and the most dangerous people are the ones that only know a little bit, in my opinion.
Wow, there you go, Luke. So if we ever spar, there you go. That's why I gotta avoid you, man. You're gonna go crazy.
Oh, first off, I'm a southpaw, so that throws everyone off.
That's even worse. Yeah, why don't you tell everybody? So we're talking about physical combat because we're, of course, talking about blood sport. You know, of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme's hit film. It got him in the limelight, became the 80s action star that everybody knows and loves, right? So we're sort of introducing our backgrounds. I like to box. It looks like Dark Hours, BJJ. Luke, you're also interesting. You are getting into like medieval combat or something like that.
Have you ever heard of the SCA? It's like
almost like is that similar to like historical
kind
European
of
martial arts?
Yeah, it's like with like Viking armor.
Okay, is the S stands for Scandinavian, I'm guessing?
Yeah, or it's a society. I'll look it up real quick, but it's like a medieval Viking. There's Vikings or knights. There's barbarians. I'm in this group.
Are you sure you're not playing D&D?
It's like a real life D&D, if you will. We fight melees like in the events. They last up for 7 hours, and
jeez,
you go crazy. You hit people pretty hard, and I have bruises all over my back. It's an insane.
Cat Styles in the chat just said it's LARPing with force.
LARPing. yeah, literally LARPing.
They call it LARPing. That's all they call it.
So when I was in college, actually, we had I didn't LARP, but we loved the boffer swords. What we did was in like the quad, like it was when I was in community college. It was before I went to university. It was in the quad area. We would just beat the shit out of each other with them. We didn't know how to make them very well, so they weren't well padded. Yeah, basically we're just hitting each other with PVC pipes in the middle of a college campus.
Basically what we do, but you just have to have the right armor and you have to make it and everything.
But... Oh, no armor. We were just slapping each other across the face.
Yeah, that's just abuse right there.
Nice. Yeah. So we all have a little bit of physical combat experience. Dark Hour, he'd probably school both of us. Luke, I think you and me need to 2v1 Dark
2v1, yeah.
Hour. Yeah.
2v1.
You'll get the legs, I'll get the top up. That's what we'll do.
Actually, I do that from time to time. I'll grab like 2 blue belts and I'll be like, hey, both of you attack me at once just to see how long I can last. I'm not going to win. I know that going into that. I know I'm not going to, but it's more of like can I last 4 minutes?
Like,
do the rules from Bloodsport apply?
Like,
oh yeah, he's gonna kill us. He'll kill us. That's funny, man. All right, yeah. So anybody that isn't familiar with Bloodsport, I want to just give everybody a quick summarization of it. So yeah, Jean-Claude
Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah, this was really the kickstart of his career. He wasn't too big before this. This was his like big leading role, and of course, he's this big, vibrant, flashy action star in this. Very muscular, competent, and confident.
He's actually quite short, but
do you know how tall he is?
I want to say he's like 5'7" or 5'8". He's not
wow, dang it, that's so disappointing. Why can't he be like 6'3"?
Yeah.
It's so weird when they do that. Yeah, you wouldn't even know.
That's the magic. It says 5'10", but Bolo Jung, the guy who he fights at the end, is 5'6", and he's barely taller than him. So I'm gonna say he's 5'8".
He's 5'6".
Well, that Rocky was 5'10", and he tried to hire all these short actors and actresses to make himself look taller, which is a bit of a shocker.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess
funny because
then
he married Bridget Nielsen, who was like 6'2".
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it doesn't really apply. But yeah, so Jean-Claude Van Damme, he plays Frank Dukes, who is actually a real person. You don't really, like, for us, this is our first time watching it, Luke's and I's, and we didn't realize this was sort of based on true events, which Dark Hour is going to counter later on in the stream. We're gonna talk about some of that, so I'm definitely curious to hear what he has to offer. But yeah, he plays Frank Dukes. He's a U.S. Army captain and, of course, a martial artist, and he kind of goes AWOL. He sort of goes off on his own, and he wants to compete in the Kumite, which is sort of an underground like fighting championship in Hong Kong. And something really strange, like a secondary force that sort of doesn't scare, but it's sort of it's an obstacle to Jean-Claude Van Damme's character, is he has to deal with like these military police dudes. They travel all the way to Hong Kong to find him, and it's like, geez, he's already got to deal with all these crazy people in the competition, and now he also has to thwart these weird cops that keep following him everywhere. There's a bunch of weird stuff
did you know who you did realize who?
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, young Forrest Whitaker. You can still recognize him. He's not like,
well, he's got that eye. He's got the Forrest Whitaker eye.
Yeah. I feel like his eye, like in Andor, I mean, I didn't even notice. It almost looked like he's got it fixed.
He probably did. It was a lazy eye is what he had.
Yeah.
He had a lazy eye. And so they probably like reattached a muscle properly or something over later in his life.
Yeah, it looks a lot better now, but he was awesome in Andor. And it was funny, the last I did an Andor stream recently talking about season 2 and trying to, I guess, encourage people to watch it. And I mentioned how I wanted to see another movie with Forrest Whitaker, and then he's just randomly in this one. He's not like a standout role. I mean, not really. He's sort of he's one of those 2 military cops that's like chasing Jean-Claude around, but he's sort of like, he's kind of the other cop's bitch a little bit. He's sort of bitched around, and
he's
kind of talked down too.
Undermined with whatever he said.
I don't know.
The opposite. It was.
He was, he was a haughty cop, and he was like up and becoming. He was young. He wanted to be cool, and he wanted to say, he wanted agency, and he didn't really have that yet. So that's sort of why I understood it, but that's very secondary. The main thing is Jean-Claude Van Damme. Frank, he's trying to get into this competition. While he's there, he runs into this other big guy, Ray Jackson. Initially, let me see, I'll pull up a picture of him. Initially, I thought this guy was going to be a total douche, and I thought they were going to paint him as a douche, because unfortunately, as you know, Dark Hour, they the way they introduce him nowadays, he would be considered the villain, right? He's on the bus.
He was. I mean, it's Donald Gibb is his name. He's and he's most people would know him as Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. So like he was a villain at this point. He always played like a douchebag, whether it be like a college jock or something. And but he's in this, he's very, first of all, he's hilarious. I love Donald Gibb. I want to try to get an interview with him for my channel at some point.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Wow.
Because I think he's retired. He's like he's like 70 or something. I think he's retired. Fun fact, me and him have the exact, well, not the exact same because it's a different year, but the same birthday. So that's going to be like my game. Be like, hey, we have the same birthday. You want to do an interview?
Congratulations.
I actually did an interview with the cinematographer for Bloodsport, who was the director for Kickboxer. So
cool.
Okay.
We'll have to watch that one too, Kickboxer. I'm curious is that worth watching?
I actually like Kickboxer better than Bloodsport. Partially because it's not based on bullshit. It's not based on but yeah.
Oh man, dig. I'm excited to hear about this. We'll get into that later.
It's horrible.
But yeah, so this guy, he's a secondary character. He's sort of like, he's the friend. He's a supportive friend that's also in the fight. I really wish we would have gotten to see him fight Frank. We didn't get to see that happen, but
yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I think that was sort of a missed opportunity. I'm kind of surprised they didn't make a second Bloodsport, and maybe something about it. They did?
There's like 5 Bloodsport movies, but Jean-Claude's only in one of them.
Oh, okay. All right. So that doesn't really count then. Yeah. Well, I want him. I guess it wouldn't really make sense for him to get back in the game after this. But during his trip to Hong Kong, he befriends this guy, and then he also falls in love with a beautiful journalist, Janice Kent. And she has it's the funniest thing that happens. I don't think I have a picture of her here. It was hard finding a decent picture. She's the blonde one here.
The best way to describe her is she kind of looks a little bit like Sarah Connor in Terminator 1. Like she kind of has that look about her.
She looked better though.
Yeah, but she has like a little curlier hair, but she kind of has that typical 80s look to her.
I wish people still looked like that. I love the look. It's such a, I don't know. Maybe it's because I just love these old movies.
She's right there.
Yeah,
Right to his left elbow. That's actually probably the best look she has in the whole movie.
Yeah, she was really good like that. But, it's so funny. So she's like a journalist and she wants to get involved in this underground, fighting ring. And it's dangerous. I mean, this is it's sort of like the ultimate test of a man's potential as a fighter. Men from all over the world go to this event, and it's underground. Like I said, people don't talk about it. Nobody discloses where this event is, and people die. I mean, it's very serious stuff here. And yeah, she's very interested in learning more. And I was really surprised to see that her character, at first she's just kind of pursuing Frank for the purpose of getting in the event. But then I think she quickly turned to love him. But it's I don't think I've ever seen the transition so fast in the movie, because instantly they're together for one night and then it's they can't be separated after that. It was so funny seeing that transition. It kind of caught me off guard, and it was not convincing for me at all. I think that was really one of the weakest points of the movie. But this is not a romance in any fashion, which is for the best. This is it's an 80s fighting film. Definitely. I mean, there's nothing else really about it. It's not too complicated. Not too much really happens here. You get training montages with his sensei who recently passes away. At least I believe he passes away. And he's sort of going to this event to honor him. And it's really just a montage of showcasing the talents of Frank and these other fighters. And overall, it's a lot of fun. Luke, since this was your first time watching this film, what was your immediate reaction and what were your expectations going into it?
I thought it was going to be one of those, notorious fighting movies, martial arts like Rocky, Karate Kid. It was too quick. Like you said, it was so quick. All this happened within 3 days.
Yeah.
He got a girl. He got with a girl, and then that was it. And then he kissed his best friend's forehead after knowing him for 3 days.
Literally.
That's probably one of my favorite lines. I love you, brother. It's dude,
yeah.
You just
It was very quick. I didn't really like the audio. It almost looked. I was telling you at your place, it kind of looked like they were being translated. Almost like their lips are going with what they were saying.
I wonder why that happens.
I know
it's not that old, 88. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get that. I don't. Do you
Uh,
know what we're talking about, Dark Hour? You know how it's like their voices are so clear. Like it's not like there's any sort of
It's
background.
ADR. It's ADR. That's what that's
Okay.
called. It's
Oh.
when you ADR it when so basically especially when you're in large venue styles like that, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll re-record the audio in a booth and then add it back in. And that's kind of what happens, especially with Jean-Claude Van Damme, because he's notoriously hard to understand. So he has to take a lot of takes with his lines. You know, he has that Belgian accent.
Yeah.
And so he and a lot of the people in this movie were foreigners, so they probably ADR'd majority of them. Some of them even look like they're not even speaking English.
I noticed.
Yeah,
that.
literally. That's hilarious, man. Okay, well that's interesting. So you're saying that so the ADR is literally like they're reading like they're in a box and they're saying the lines and trying to match that like lip sync it.
Yeah. So now if they can, they will get with like, you know, the old boom mics, you know, because like obviously he can't wear any lavalier mic or anything like that. He's not wearing much clothes to attach it to. But you know, with the boom mic, they'll pick up what they can, whatever's usable. But in a room like this, it's really hard to soundproof something like this. It's damn near impossible. It's so you're going to be picking up a lot of ambient noise. So what they do is they filter that out, then they ADR the lines back in. It was pretty common. It's still common. It's just a lot harder to see now because it's done on a closed set, and it's they're just a lot better at syncing up now.
Sure.
A lot of these movies, you have to also remember this. We're seeing it a lot clearer than people did in 1988. You know, it looks this we're seeing it. It's remastered in HD. It looks a lot better. You know, a lot of people watch this on, if they didn't see it in theaters, they watched it on a 360p television. You know, maybe still in black and white sometimes. You know, and if like if you didn't, but like it was harder to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a weird reminder. Like 360p, like I can't even that's a much blurrier version of what we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's weird to think that like we're even able to take, because originally the source isn't that low quality, obviously, but it's crazy that we're able to. Yeah, that's crazy. That's just weird.
This is 360p. Like I'm much harder to see the things, and it's like I switch over. Yeah. Well, I just switched it to 360p for a second there.
Oh, okay. You saw it on your end. Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's,
no. Look at me right now. See how like I'm not as
Yeah, you're more blurry.
And then I go up to, now I'm.
So beautiful. Perfect. Nice. Yeah, and you're wearing your Midnight Snack shirt. I love that, man. I gotta get one of those. That's perfect.
Amazon, like $12.
This is that's what Dark Hour is known for, everybody. He's always got a fashionable shirt every stream. I respect it.
Yeah,
somebody gave me shit for that on the last time I was on Open Bar. I think someone was like, "Why are you wearing a special guest shirt?" What? I was like,
"Be fun."
Haters.
The whole
it's
point
good to
is
be
that
fun.
the joke is that every time I lean over, it just says special.
So just being special.
That's the joke.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Hey, bro,
okay, yeah.
Can I review it really quick because I might have to excuse myself, sadly.
Oh, you're good, man.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us? So what were some like your favorite moments in Bloodsport, Luke?
My favorite moments were the interaction between, what's the main villain's name? Big guy.
Chong Li.
Chong Li. He sounds like a Mortal Kombat character, but
Mortal Kombat was basically based on this.
Oh yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, it looks like it. But I liked all of his interactions with his other opponents. I didn't like how cheap he was fighting with what's his name?
Ray Jackson.
Yeah, I didn't like how cheap he was. He was throwing dust in his eyes and.
You're talking about the very end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jean-Claude.
Yeah, I won't go that far, but right. That was my favorite moments, was his interaction with, because he was huge and he was like the Drago of Bloodsport, and so that was my favorite part. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's fair. That's cool, man.
I'm in that range as well.
Yeah,
7 out of 10. I don't know. I think I know you got to head off, Luke. You're good. Poor Luke. He's not doing too well today, guys.
Yeah, I might have salmonella. Honestly, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I do.
Poor Luke. Those
It's pretty-
Memorial Day blues, I guess.
Yeah.
Party too hard. Pretty cool,
bad.
man. Yeah, you hop off whenever you want, buddy.
All right,
You're
you
cool.
guys have a good stream.
Yeah, we'll talk. Thanks, buddy.
See you guys. Bye.
Yeah,
So-
for me,
so,
I think
I just want to say this. Bolo Jung he's like a legitimate bodybuilder. He's obviously not cut down in this point because he's got the body. You can tell his body fat percentage is relatively high comparatively to what he would be when he was, cut down. But he's an absolute fucking unit.
it's insane. I've never seen an Asian guy this big before. Like, he's enormous.
He's a big motherfucker.
Look at this. It's crazy. That's sad you say he's 5. Wait, you say he's 5'6"?
5'6", 5'7".
Oh, man.
I mean, that's 5'8" is the average height.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, I know. They just bill him as this giant. It's like, man, can he be like 6'2", 250 pounds? That would be so cool.
he looks like if you threw a brick at him, it would bounce off, though. It doesn't.
Oh yeah, he's solid. Yeah, he doesn't say much too, which is good. Unfortunately,
maybe 4 lines.
Yeah, I feel like every time he opened his mouth, it was kind of like, oh no, don't talk, man. It just didn't sound cool. I don't know. I don't think he was able to. I don't think his gravitas weighed up to his performance here physically.
Probably why they didn't have him speak much. His look. He was also in Enter the Dragon as well. He played Bolo in Enter the Dragon. He was a lot younger at that point. I would say here he's probably in his mid to late 30s. He was probably in his 20s when Enter the Dragon came out, because Enter the Dragon would have been 11 years prior to this.
Wow.
Like or maybe even more than that, actually. Probably even more than that. Well, let's see. I can't recall what year it came out, actually. But yeah, you're talking about over a decade prior. So, but yeah, and Jean-Claude at this point was probably at his most cut. Like he's always cut throughout his career, but I think this was probably the best shape he was in.
It was crazy. Yeah, I love seeing like a lot of it is he's just trying to look. I feel like so much of the film is him just looking pretty. You know what I mean? Him flexing, him doing a bunch of little motions and such. And I don't know. To me, that was cool. I liked seeing this guy, this bold, strong guy, just being confident and running his own show. And I'd say I don't know, a good third of a lot of the actual I don't know, martial arts side of the story. I think a third of it was really just him I don't know, meditating and reflecting and doing his stretches and stuff. But I was kind of into it, I thought it was this is especially crazy, of course. His
yeah,
Is this normal, man? Is this what you do?
No, I actually have terrible whatever you call leg span, wingspan for your legs. I've always had tight Achilles, tight calves, and I can't do that. No,
it's crazy.
I wish I could do that. I would probably sit like that all day if I could. I would find excuses to do it in public if I could do that.
Yeah, okay, poor guy.
Enter the Dragon was 73. I'm sorry. So yeah, you're talking 15 years prior.
Wow.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why I was thinking it was 77, 76. I don't know.
Jeez, but, I haven't heard of that one. It's pretty good.
Enter the Dragon. That's that's the Bruce Lee movie. That's the Bruce Lee movie.
Oh, I know. I got a lot of adventuring to do, man. We'll have to watch that. I love these kung fu martial arts stuff. I mean, I don't watch too much of it. There's really not too many good boxing movies except Rocky, at least in my eyes. I just haven't run into very many. Raging Bull. I'm not a big Raging Bull guy. I don't know. I think the whole thing with him with the 13-year-old was real gross to me. So
well, it's because Raging Bull suffers because it's biopic, so it suffers from that. And what's another fun fact? So this was not too long after Van Damme had walked out on Predator, might I add.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah. So he took this one up, though.
You haven't seen T2?
Oh, who said that? Oh, no.
Proctophile?
Bully Brawler. I know. I got a lot of work to do.
What is wrong with you? That's
I know it's bad. It's bad. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't like I don't like James Cameron very much. I'm just not into.
Yeah, but that was James Cameron before he became like a pompous dickhead. That was like
I
James Cameron
know.
at his James Cameroniest.
I know. Well, you know what? I didn't like. I just didn't like Alien very much either. I didn't like
Well, he
Alien.
wasn't
I like
Alien. He was
Predator.
Aliens.
Oh, he was Aliens.
Alien was
Okay.
Ridley Scott.
I just
Uh,
watched. What did we watch? We just watched The Abyss, and I really didn't like The Abyss.
So, fun fact about The Abyss. We're going way off on tangents, which I
No.
love, might I add. Fun
Uh-huh.
fact about The Abyss, it was basically written as a tech demo for T2. Almost the entirety of the special effects for Abyss were just to see whether or not that liquid style would work for a liquid Terminator, which ended up being the T-1000. So Abyss is one of the most expensive tech demos of all time.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I've heard that before. Yeah, because
My
with like the
favorite
weird.
scene in The Abyss, though, might I add, is when the I forget her name, the chick like
The
go
annoying lady.
underneath, and she gets like she goes into hypothermia, and they're like they're gonna shock pad her and they're like, hey, you need to do it on bare skin, so like they
Oh
zoom in on her.
yeah.
There's your titties.
Literally, yeah, that was a shocker. There they are. Yeah, no. All right. Well, you have some positive things to say. That's good. You're an optimistic man. Maybe okay. I know. I deserve to be bullied for that.
Seriously, actually, Sparkles just said it. Miss Sparkles in the chat. If you haven't watched Drinker's production hell on The Abyss, it's one of my favorite videos he ever did. That movie was a fucking shit show. The way by the end of that thing, everyone had almost died like multiple times.
Wow.
It was like insanity.
Dang. You know, I need to watch that. I think for me, I just dislike the movie so much. It's like I don't want to touch it anymore. I don't even want to think of James Cameron anymore. I don't know. I'm not a big sci-fi guy. I'll be honest. I'm just not a big sci-fi guy. We all got our things, right? But I don't know. Why don't we?
But back to Bloodsport.
Yeah, Bloodsport and The Abyss have nothing in common. I think I want to mention just a few highlights of the movie for me. You know, I think it's obviously it was just a pleasure to see this guy Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, this was my first impression of him. I've heard his name many times. You know, as I told you earlier, with Bloodsport, like it has this infamous poster, which I unfortunately don't have. This is kind of close to it, but it's like it kind of sticks with you. It's not this one, but I remember seeing that so many times over, and I've always been curious about it. And I don't know, that kind of name, it also sticks with you. And I wanted to watch something, you know, physical combat because of you and, giving your time to us, which is great. And you know what, overall, I had a lot of fun watching this. I thought it was it's just a fun, like kitschy 80s movie. You know what I mean? It's not, you can't take this too seriously at all. And, for the flaws it has, I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had here.
So like I said backstage, this is kind of the progenitor for almost all of Van Damme's movies. Like basically, at least the first half dozen or so that he does are mostly variations of this. Kickbox are very similar, but it's in Thailand and it's Muay Thai, and it's The Quest is almost the exact same movie. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's like almost the exact same movie. And then they started adding more of the special agent with the guns and stuff. He still used the martial arts, but he started adding guns. Then eventually he was doing Time Cop. He did Universal Soldier, which is one of his better films, Universal Soldier. He was a better actor by that point. This is a great still, by the way. This
I
can
love
be
this
taken
one
in several ways.
I know it's here. Let me. All right, we're not gonna look at that anymore. You had to ruin it.
Sorry. But yeah, I mean, my impression of this. So I remember seeing this when I was younger. Obviously, like I watched it when I was a kid. My dad was really into showing me, action movies, Predator, Terminator. That's why Terminator 2. That's why I'm so upset that you haven't seen Terminator 2. And Van Damme eventually would come along with, in that, the general way that he went was like Stallone and Schwarzenegger were early. And then we added later on, it was the Van Dammes and who else was like big at that time in the 80s? And pretty much anybody but Steven Seagal. I can't stand that one. And then, but this one was really, like you said, it was what got him started. It allowed him to, it showcased what he could do and limited what he couldn't, which was he wasn't a great actor. He was a physical specimen. He was great at the combat aspects, but I mean, just you just watch the opening few scenes and you realize he's not much of an actor.
No.
Though one of my favorite moments is when they try to have that kid do his accent in
Oh
the beginning
yeah,
of the movie.
it's perfect.
And I'm like, that's definitely not how he sounds.
He's so dry. That poor child. It looked like something I filmed when I was like 12 years old with my sister. You know what I mean? Just like normal kids. Just start talking, guys. Yeah.
But he basically, I mean, Donald Gibb does a lot of the heavy lifting in the acting department in this movie. You know, which is surprising because he was known for being just he was just known for being like a physical gag kind of guy for a lot of his career too. And he like their chemistry is actually really good. Now, that being said, I know I mentioned this earlier. This movie is complete bullshit. It's all based. Frank Dukes was a notorious liar. He was one of the earliest known perpetrators of widespread bullshito. He wrote in all these random stories about his, the kumites he fought in, and all of these statistics he had, and these secret tournaments. And I was a clandestine Navy SEAL Medal of Honor winner, and there's no record of any of that. There's no record of anything he ever said. This movie is basically, I'm not even joking you. They tried to say that this was his actual life, not just like the whole I went AWOL to fight for my,
for his sensei, fallen sensei. Yeah.
Senzo Tanaka. they checked that person never existed. There was nobody of that name. So he was a notorious bullshitter. Actually, if you pull up the statistics real quick, I'd love. Yeah,
I have it here. Something. Yeah, this.
First of all, there's no way to measure the miles per hour of a kick, really. I mean,
I was wondering.
But here's a fun fact. So this is a single elimination tournament, right? 56 consecutive knockouts. Do you have any?
That's insane.
Do you have any clue how many people would be in that tournament? Just this rough ballpark, rough number.
From what we saw in the movie?
Just throw out a number, and I'll tell you how far off you are.
20?
20. 56 consecutive. It's a single elimination, so each knockout has to be a new opponent that made it past the previous round. So that minimum 56 rounds.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. You think
a number. I guarantee you get it wrong.
70.
70? No.
It's
a mathematical impossibility for him to have been in a tournament this large. So the way it works is obviously you go 2 in the finals, 4 in the semis, 8 in the quarters, and so on and so forth. So that's 2 to the 56th power, which is 72 quadrillion people.
Wow. What?
Yes. Do the math.
That's some crazy math, man. See, when I see so based on the movie, I don't know about any of this stuff. So I'm glad you're telling me. I've never been to a tournament like this. When I look in the room, I saw 20 fighters. And when I see most consecutive knockouts, in a single tournament. Okay, well, never mind. Okay, that's the word. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a single elimination tournament.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay. I was thinking overall. I thought maybe he went to 3 tournaments and he knocked everybody out until the 57th person. And he's like, okay, that's nobody. That's it.
Nope. Yeah. He would have to be.
I'm not that stupid.
It's fine. Most people don't put 2 and 2 or 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
But
wow.
It's quite literally would be 72 quadrillion people.
How's that? I mean, this would last forever if it was like that. How do they even have this credit on here?
Nobody, because they're screenwriters. They're not mathematicians. They didn't think about that.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah, quite literally, if I'm in if you'd have 4 matches in a tournament, right? So it's finals. So then that's 1 match, 2 matches, 4, 3. You would have to be in a 32 person tournament to have 4 matches, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So it exponentially gets larger as you go along, unless you do some weird bullshit, where it's everybody's fighting everybody, but then that's not what they show.
Man, you're spinning right now, man. This is awesome. I love that you mentioned this. This is crazy. I didn't
I told you to get
I didn't even think twice. I didn't even think twice about it. Yeah. How do you possibly measure the fastest kick like that? So, and 72
So
miles per hour, that's
So you
insane.
could with like modern technology, but this was 88. They didn't have like his leg wouldn't have been traveling far enough for like a radar gun to work. You would need
Mm.
current generation technology to figure that out.
Do you think that's even possible? Like to have a kick that's like that fast, that hard?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I could see like I could probably look up like what the average punch speed is for a fighter, but I don't know. It's probably not something they really. Then again, they do measure like bat speed when someone swings a bat in baseball, so maybe it's a possibility
Yeah,
that they might have those
man.
statistics.
That's crazy. That's so weird. Yeah, I was so convinced because I mean we're really fresh on this. I mean, we just watched this. I wouldn't have thought twice about that unless you mentioned it. But good
It's one of
call
my
out there.
favorite things. One of my
That's
favorite
that's
little
so
fuck ups.
sad. That's so sad. I was so excited when they painted this as like a true story. I was like, man, let's go. Let's go, man. I love this Frank guy.
Here's the thing: is it's still a great movie. It's
Mhm.
still a really good movie. You just have to ignore that it's based on a true story, because it's not.
Mhm.
I would say it's Frank Dukes. I'm telling you, go watch videos on him.
Uh-huh.
He truly started to believe his own bullshit, and he would be in interviews where they would ask him questions, and he would get caught in lies and then like create these elaborate lies to get out of lies. It was insanity.
Man, what a weird story. Jeez. So I'm wondering about this too, because something I enjoyed, which I'm definitely curious about your take, is that,
Mhm.
this film, it showcased a large variety of different like fighting styles. Were
Mhm.
those like ridiculous? Did you think they were like practical? Did they make
So
sense?
I picked out a few as I went along. One of my favorite is that there's a dude named Paco who's clearly the Muay Thai guy, and I'm like, why'd you make a guy named Paco the Muay Thai guy? Like, you have
Uh-huh.
a Mexican dude. It's just like, and he looks fairly good at, like, he does the old school like invisible broomstick style, and it looked good. I mean, there was clearly a lot of karate fighters, which there is legitimate knockdown karate styles, and I often tell people don't shit on it just because you have your dime store McDojo down in the strip mall near your house. There's still legitimate fuck you up karate.
Oh, sure.
um and like you could go look up Kyokushin black belts. These dudes beat the shit out of each other. There was I think the one guy, I can't remember his name because they don't really do a good job of highlighting a lot of the names. It's really just, Ray, Frank, and Chong Li are really the only ones that get
Mhm.
mentioned. The one guy I think is supposed to be like a sumo wrestler.
Oh yeah, that dude.
He's a little small by sumo standards, but I get what, I get what they were doing. They wanted him to not be insanely
When he
huge
got
compared to
punched in
everything.
his bare balls, I was like,
Yeah.
oh gosh.
Well, that's where the Johnny Cage ball punch is based on. It's that scene.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
And but yeah, so you have sumo, you have various karate styles. Jean-Claude is technically, he's a kickboxer he was a kickboxer in real life, but he's supposed to be using like a karate style as well because it's Japanese. You have Muay Thai. I'm not really sure exactly what Chong Li is supposed to be. He's Korean, but he's not doing Taekwondo. He's doing basically, he's not even, I wouldn't even call him like a martial artist. He just kind of goes up most of the fights and just breaks a dude's neck.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was messed
Um,
up.
there's one dude that I think was like a Dutch style kickboxer at one point. And there was clearly they do show an American boxer at one point. He's like one of the early losses though.
Who
So yeah,
was the
there's a
dude? You remember the dude? He had like his hands out like this. Like,
yeah,
you know what
that's
that
the
was
Muay Thai
about?
guy.
Oh,
Well,
that's like
so
normal.
yeah, well, so a lot there's a lot of like old school Muay Thai guys. They do this because it's to block kicks. It's a lot
Oh,
of people call it the invisible broomstick because it's like you're
okay,
holding a
yeah.
broomstick. And because they keep it like this because they're really what they want to do is they want to use their elbows. Their
Hmm.
fists are just kind of there. They want to use their elbows, their knees, and their feet or shins.
Hmm.
So that actually is fairly accurate. He does that is a lot of pure Muay Thai fighters do stand like that.
Okay. It was cool
If
seeing all these different stances because, like, for me, I'm just used to the boxing stance. Like, I
yeah.
don't ever see anything like this ever, so it was cool. I'm glad it's somewhat accurate.
So another reason why they go like this is so they palm down like this, so that way they can reach out and like grab behind the head and do like a plum clinch. which is exactly like that's why they do it. So it's not, they don't keep them way back because you have to wrist fight and like, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Another thing with the Muay Thai guys, one of the reasons why they do that as well is because, like I said, they block the high kicks. And so it is pretty accurate. There are more modern guys will do it, you know, standard box, like kickboxing stance. Probably one of the most famous examples of a guy who used that invisible broomstick style would be Mauricio Hua, Shogun Hua. He did that in the UFC. That was kind of his stance that he used a lot. It wasn't exactly like that, but it was close.
Oh, cool, man. Sweet. Huh. Well, all right. Well, good. I'm glad this is, it's giving us somewhat accurate portrayal of like some real life combat. That's good. I think it was like, you know, kind of like on par with like normal 80s stuff. It's always just kind of disappointing when you see them just punching air and kicking air so much. There's a lot of that happening here. And you know, it's just the way it is. I don't personally care, but we like the way this works. Dark Hour is like I've been having guys over, my buddies. We meet at my place every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and we get pizza every week. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for years, and I just started streaming afterwards, just maybe 2 months ago. And yeah, we just watch old stuff, talk about it. Bunch of Gen Z dudes, you know, early 20s. I don't even like being called Gen Z, but that's what we are. So but you know, we appreciate the old stuff, and yeah, it's interesting to hear what the other guys have to say. And I think pretty much everybody enjoyed this, though. I think my complaints, if I had any complaints about it, I think yeah, it's just funny to me that these guys, you know, like you said, I love you, brother, to this dude. And then he falls in love. Then he falls in love with the reporter. You know, he just met her for one day. They don't know each other at all. And they kind of build it up like, you know, there's been a lot of developing relationships here. And it's just like, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. This is sort of like for Luke and me, definitely me. I haven't really seen any movies that are kind of like kitschy like this. Like when I think of like 80s action, this is like the all encompassing subject right here. This is it. This is everything right here. And I'm about it though. It's fun. I don't know if like, I think you said you watched this for the first time when you were 19, right? Or like,
no, probably younger than that. I was probably like early teens, probably.
Early teens.
Maybe.
Okay.
So I had a friend that I used to watch a lot of martial arts films with, and I was probably like 12 or 13 in that range when I first started watching. When I first saw this one, I was more into, when I was younger. I was more into like action movies, like, you know, the Terminators, stuff like that. And then as I got a little older, I got more into martial arts movies, and so on and so forth. So I would estimate probably around 12 or 13 is when I saw this one.
Okay, that's cool, man. Are you excited for Nobody 2 by chance?
So I like the first one, but I'm not sure where else it could really go.
Yeah.
I know supposedly it's supposed to be him on like vacation or something. I don't know how much more they can really do. I wonder if it's gonna have the John Wick effect, where it's like after a while you've kind of seen it all. I really liked John Wick 4, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like it didn't really bring anything new to the table that we didn't see in the previous 3 movies. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the case with Nobody. We've already kind of seen this story play out once already.
That's a good standard to have for movies. Yeah, if you're going to make a sequel, you better be exploring something we haven't seen, you know, or we better see him evolve or change or, you know, be hindered because of what happened last time. So that's fair. Yeah. I think, I don't know. I was excited about it.
The way I look, I mean, I'll still watch it. I mean, and I was pleasantly surprised by the first one. So in fact, I did a video I compared the 2 bus scenes. I compared that one to the one from Shang-Chi.
Oh gosh,
the one from Nobody won like handily.
Oh yeah,
and I manipulated the numbers a little bit to make it sound like it was closer than it was. But, but that
there's no way those 2 are close.
No, but man. Yeah, it's definitely, and honestly, that's kind of where Jean-Claude's career started to hit a patch after this. Like I said, his next like 3 or 4 films were pretty much variations of this one, and you know, this is I personally like Kickboxer a little bit better, only because it plays a little bit more with the characters, like because there's less of them. so it gives you a little bit more
That's cool.
motivation. But you know, like Bloodsport in and of itself is it's fast paced. It doesn't slow down really ever. The only times that it kind of slows down are like between the days of the tournament, which feels a little weird.
Yeah.
The Forrest Whitaker scenes, the character of Janet, she's nice to look at, but she doesn't really add much to the story.
Nothing.
Like she doesn't there's not really much about her that like makes any she doesn't do anything that progresses much. I do wish that they would have had a little bit more to play with in terms of some of the other characters. Like I said, they really only get development on 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't even have to be some of the other fighters. It could have been more development on the officers, or like the Chinese commissioner, or like the police commissioner. He could have had a little bit more. One thing I do like, though, a little touch that they added is can you flip through your pictures real quick? There's one where you can kind of see what I'll tell you which one it is. No, new, that one. If you look at that red box behind them, mm-hmm. That's that was
interesting.
That has a statue of Guan Yu in it, the Chinese god of war. Also the character from Dynasty Warriors, it was a real life person. And that's one of the reasons why they like bow to it after the one character dies. It's like them honoring him.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was wondering what that was about. That was interesting. Huh. Yeah, I think it goes fast too. Like, we're talking about how we wish they would have done more, but I mean, we really didn't have too much time to chew on a lot of these characters. I mean, it's a quick 90 minutes. It might be even a little shorter than 90 minutes. I
think it's exactly 90 minutes actually. Mine was the digital. I owned the DVD somewhere. I couldn't find it, so I just I was like, whatever, I'll just buy it on Fandango at home. And it was on sale anyway. When I looked,
it was only $5 here. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll just grab it, whatever. Sure. As long as it's a movie, I don't think that they're going to make any like weird changes to. I don't mind not having the physical media. And I think it was 1 hour 33 minutes. So if you account for 3-4 minutes of credits, it's pretty much exactly 90 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there wasn't a shit ton of credits on this one. It's not it wasn't a huge cast. Like the cast. I'm sorry, it wasn't a huge crew. It was all in mostly one location. Like I said, I interviewed the cinematographer. He told me when we did it that they were doing a lot of bare bones stuff whenever they could. So
man, that's sweet. You got to talk to that guy. The cinematography is great in this. Man, I love the way everything's shot. It looks great, just picturesque. I mean, it's like looking at those like Greek statues. I mean, that's what he really is here. I mean, admire him, admire his body. I mean, that's what it is. This is just
that's a great way to put it. Greek statues.
Literally. I mean, just these guys are just enormous, and especially the what do you call him? Chi Bong or something like that, or
Chong Li?
Chong Li. Oh my bad. I think what's the actor's name?
It's Bolo Young.
Oh, Bolo Lung. Okay, so I mixed the two. Okay, yeah, but I mean, these guys are really...
The character he played in Enter the Dragon was actually just named Bolo. They just gave him his real name.
Yeah.
But yeah, David Worth was the cinematographer. Like I said, I did an interview with him. He's like in his 80s now. It's hard to hear him in my interview. I did the best I could with like I had to re-release it because I moved all my lives back over to my main channel. But he had nothing but like awesome things to say about everybody on the cast of this movie. He was just like, he loved working with like all of them.
That's sweet. Would there be anything you would change about Bloodsport if you had the chance?
Besides make it longer, I mean, that's the one thing I would do. I would have liked to see a little bit more in depth on the fight. Some of the fights are just too quick. It's like, and I get that most of them are nameless characters. I would have liked to see a little bit more of Chong Li's motivation. He's just very comically evil. Like, I just want to hurt people and kill people. I would have liked to have seen maybe, something about him a little bit more. And more Donald Gibb. I think that every time he's on the screen, it's just amazing. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he was solid.
I love him in this movie.
He was hilarious. He was funny, man. Yeah, you're right about him too. I think the fights were also, they were also short. I wanted to see all these crazy fights. You know what I mean? And see Frank's how Frank deals with all of them. We didn't get, you just get little snippets of a decent amount. You got he probably fought like 6 dudes in this. But yeah, let's get some longer fights. I wish they would have made a sequel to this with him and somehow he gets back in the ring here, because I think that would be exciting.
Yeah, they invented a new character. Donald Gibb is in the second one. I know that. I don't think he's in any of the following ones. So a lot of these 80s movies, specifically 80s movies that starred Jean-Claude Van Damme, would go on to spawn these franchises that he wasn't part of.
That's
They did
so
it with
weird.
this. They did it with Kickboxer. I think Universal Soldier, I think he stuck around for all of those ones, if I recall correctly. But like they would just had these weird moments where he would like kind of start a franchise and then leave to go start a new one. He was like
that's so weird.
My people need me, and he would just go.
Yeah, we totally that model has been completely abandoned now. I mean, you don't see that at all anymore. I'm so sick of all the sequels though, so we do not need. I don't want this remade. I don't want a modern sequel of this. He does not need to come back to play this character as an old dude. Yeah,
let me see. I'm gonna check right now if he was in all the Universal Soldier series of movies. I'm gonna check. I'm paying attention. Don't worry.
No, you're cool. Yeah. So I wanted to get to the chat anyway. Thank you all for joining us. It's great having you all here. I appreciate your time. Brown Eyes of Mandalore. I don't know what you're.
That's
Kumite. Kumite. Oh yeah, the Kumite is sweet, man. I want a shirt that just says Kumite. I think Trump said. I think Trump said this is one of his favorite movies. Okay. Maybe that's where.
Okay, so this is Jean-Claude Van Damme was in Universal Soldier 1, then he left for 2 and 3, came back for The Return, and then has been in ever since. So yeah, that was another one he had where he started a franchise, like left it, and they just kept it going. It's crazy. It's the Jean-Claude Van Damme effect.
That's hilarious, man. I'd like to see. I don't think has he had an appearance as an older dude in anything. Like recent enough.
I think he was in the one of the later Kickboxers. He came back as I don't know. I mean, when you say as an older dude, you mean like has he been in a movie like
more recently?
Like, yeah. I mean, he was in the second Expendables.
Okay, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he had the greatest name in villain history, Jean Villain.
Of course. Yep.
He also did a show for a little while called JCVD where he played himself, but as if he was the actor, and all of this stuff was like bullshit. He was really a secret agent on the side, and the actor was just like this facade. I think it only lasted 1 season.
Wow, what a weird premise. Who needs that?
It was pretty funny the first time. The first couple episodes I watched were pretty funny, but then I kind of forgot it existed because it was on Prime, and that was back when they didn't really do a good job of promoting their stuff.
Oh,
they didn't realize yet that if they just slapped the picture on the side of every box they sent to people's houses, they had free marketing.
That kind of like, I'll admit, like initially with Rings of Power, it was like before it came out, you saw the Rings of Power stuff on the boxes, and it kind of got me hyped. It's a shame. It was wrong, though. Bad hype. Brown Eyes of Mandalore. Despite the low budget and 80s martial arts cringe, this movie is still great and a classic. And that soundtrack is so good. Just a simple synth. Oh, yeah. They also
Chamberlain would not like it then. He hates synth music. Yeah.
I don't know. It excited me. It got me pumped. What's up, Wilkie? Thanks for joining us, man. Hey, Proctophile, what's up, guys? How we doing tonight? We're doing good, man. Thanks for joining us.
But yeah, this I mean, so if you liked this movie and you haven't seen Kickboxer, I thoroughly suggest it. Kickboxer will come out a year later. A lot of similar themes. It's about kickboxing, obviously, but they develop the characters a little bit more.
Okay.
The quest also very similar. Almost like, honestly, the quest is basically identical to BLOODSPORT.
That's so weird. I don't know how they got away with doing that. I mean, that's something I'll give I guess modern cinema some credit is they don't really copy off of each other of what's releasing in the last 5 years. That's sort of I don't get that sense. I'll give us that much credit. But of course they're copying older stuff though, so it's like, come on, guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, now it's like we briefly spoke backstage about Karate Kid Legends, and at some point, I would say probably about 10, maybe 15 years ago, they just ran out of ideas. That's basically what happened. They were just like, you know what? Let's just start making shit that people like already. And then when that runs out, we'll make it again. And that's and we're firmly in this loop. It's like a time loop of just like, okay, what's coming up for remake? And it's not even just movies. It's you're seeing TV shows that are relaunches of old shows. You're seeing video games that are remakes of remakes. They're talking about remaking Resident Evil again, the first Resident Evil game again. It's like the original remake, one of the greatest games I've ever played. I don't know how you can improve on that. Am I going to buy it? Abso-fucking-lutely. But I don't want to, but I'm going to.
You don't have to, Dark Hour. You know that, right?
I know.
I would buy it because I'm interested in getting into the game series. I've never played the Resident Evil games. So
really, dude,
I know.
I'm not sure if I'm ever going to come back on this.
Hey, I played Knights of the Old Republic. Does that mean anything?
That works.
Okay, and I've been going through Fallout. I just beat New Vegas and I beat Fallout 3.
And New now Vegas I'm interested is probably in the best one in that series in terms of like mechanics. Storyline wise, the old Fallout games are much better, but those were a different style of game. Those were top down, like dungeon style. RPGs. If you haven't played Resident Evil, I thoroughly suggest playing Resident Evil 1 Remake. It's a little weird. You're gonna have to get used to some older controls, but once you do, it's fantastic.
It's crazy that Obsidian remaster is it Obsidian? No, Oblivion remaster. It's crazy how good that looks. But it's still got the old mechanics.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm not a huge Elder Scrolls guy. I enjoy it, but I'm not like it's not my go-to. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if you want any advice on Resident Evil, just come to me.
Okay. I'll hit you up. I'll need some help. I'm gonna be scared too. Maybe
I need to redo them. So I had done streams for all the Resident Evil games, but they're long since gone because they were on like a second channel that I'm redoing. So I'm just gonna replay them because I love them. So
nice. Well, that's cool. How many games are there?
A lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dead Aim doesn't count. Survivor doesn't count. Those can go away. So, the ones that you should play, probably about 9 of them.
Wow.
Ones that you can optionally play, probably if you added all of the shitty ones, 17.
Oh, only 17.
You don't need to play most of them. Honestly, if you stick with the core series, you're fine.
Okay.
You stick with 1 through, and some are better than others. The original 1, 2, and 3 for PlayStation, I still go back and play. But if you wanted to get the remakes, that's fine too.
Are they long?
They can be. It depends on how you play them. It depends on how long you take. I can breeze through Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation 1 in like an hour and a half. But I skip all the cutscenes and know exactly where I have to go.
Okay. Yeah, so. All right. Well, I've been needing a new game series to get into because I'm getting kind of tired of Fallout. So that's good. Good recommendation. Thanks. I'll check that out. And maybe you won't be able to grill me on it anymore because I had played all the games.
The way I look at it is I love to see someone experience something for the first time. If it's something, whether it be a movie, a video game, whatever. That's why I'm envious. It's almost like someone trying to get to try bacon for the first time when they're 30 or something. It's like,
you'll never have that again.
Yeah, you can never have that moment again, and it sucks because I've always said if I could choose one ability, not obviously anybody would choose flight or invisibility or super strength, but I was like, if I could choose one really off the wall ability, it would be the ability to forget very highly specific things. I want to forget that I ever tried chocolate ice cream, so that way it's like the first time I did it.
Yeah. It's that's a weird superpower, bro. Yeah. But hey, it's good.
Memory control, ability to
We'd be much happier people overall, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. All right, so Proctofol, yeah, most people think taking a hit's gonna feel a lot worse than it does, but it's not that bad. Nah, I actually kind of like, weirdly enough, I kind of like getting punched in the face a little bit. I don't know. There's something
Whoa.
kind of therapy, so, not in a weird way. You know what I mean? And I also like punching
I took
people
a
in the
headbutt
face.
earlier. You can kind of see it. It's like right up there. I took a headbutt.
Ugh,
And you
yikes!
can see my hairline all the way
Are
back
you
there.
are you spinning? Are you
No,
spinning
no,
right
no. It
now?
wasn't that bad. It was just like it was a grazing headbutt. It wasn't that
I
bad.
don't know what it's like getting kicked in the face. I don't want to be kicked.
No,
That must suck.
I've been kicked in the face once, like kicked in the head. Generally, you don't get kicked in the face because just it because it's coming from the sides
Yeah.
unless you turn into it. It's hard to get kicked square in the face. It hurts though. Kicks
Mm.
hurt a lot more because it's the shin bone.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it's like,
Oof, yikes. Man, yeah, no thanks. Blue collar loser, be careful, Jackson, of his advice. He claims he's from Jersey and doesn't even have an accent. Man, I thought so. It was funny on X. I saw him. He was like saying mean stuff about you, and I was like,
I've
"Oh,
met
be
Blue
nice
Collar
to
Loser
him."
in person. There's a picture. Let me see if I can find the picture. I might
Yeah, I'd
still
like to
have
see
it.
that. He's
I'm like
cool.
a foot taller than him. So like, let me see if I still
Dang,
have it.
Dark
Hold on.
Hour's tall.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
cool.
6'1". I'm not like crazy tall.
Dang, that's pretty tall. I'm 5'11".
Yeah. I don't know if I still have it on my computer, unfortunately.
You're cool. If you find that, share it. We'd like to see that.
Yeah,
Proctofile, fun fact of the night. James Joyce and Ernest Hemingway used to go out drinking regularly. And if anyone ever tried starting shit,
I know
James
exactly
would
where to
just
find it.
say, deal with him, and Ernest would take him out. Nice. Yeah, I guess Ernest Hemingway was a boxer, right? Or
Yes, he
he was
was.
into
Yeah.
boxing. That's cool. I love
Uh,
Midnight in Paris. That's how I knew that, because Ernest Hemingway's in that film.
I
That's
think I
awesome.
might know exactly where to find it. Give me a minute here.
You're cool. Take your time. Hey, Miss Sparkles. Thanks for joining us. I watched this movie recently on Antenna Cable TV. It was something. Yeah. I bet I want to see what that looks like. I want to watch this I want to watch this on one of those old, like, what did you say, 360p TVs?
Yeah, 360p. Yeah.
Man, I want to see that. I kind of like, it's funny how we're like younger people like my age, we're interested in like, retro stuff, like people like the the cameras with film, and people like VHS tapes. It's funny that we're kind of
retro always does that. I know. So here, hold on. I'm almost there. It's doing that thing where it only loads a few pictures at a time, but I know where to find it.
You're cool. If you're able to get that on here,
I'll pop it up. Don't worry.
okay, cool.
I just need to go back far enough.
You're more familiar with the software than I am. Oh, let's see. Brown Eyes.
I don't even really use that one. I don't even really use that one that much anymore. I should.
Oh yeah, you have another one you recommend.
I have one that I recommended one that I don't use. So
okay,
here it is.
All right, here we go.
Hold on. I just gotta save the picture, and then that should work. Let's see. Image file.
All right, Brown Eyes. That actor who plays Ray Jackson is in U.S. Marshals. If you've ever seen that,
there's the
Tommy
picture of
Lee
me
Jones.
and Blue Collar Loser.
Whoa, dang, you look huge there. My gosh,
that was from like what? Like that's got to be like 2 years ago now.
Wow, he's getting a big spotlight today. Nice, that's cool. He visited Jersey, yeah, because I know he's from New York.
So that's in New York City. That's in a parking deck.
Oh, nice. I was almost in New York City recently because they had the big, boxing, like the boxing tournament thing, like in the middle of Times Square. I'm glad I didn't go because it turned out to be a terrible farce. So, or not a farce, but more like the fights were just awful.
Yeah, I don't like to go into New York that often. I actually live way closer to New York City than Blue Collar Loser does. He lives up in like near Albany, which is like upstate New York. I live only like 15 miles out from New York City. So
oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Huh. You probably aren't really interested in it though, right? Jersey's nice from what I hear.
Well, it depends what section. If you're up northeast near New York City, not so nice. You go out west, down south, so like the shoreline, and then you get out toward Philly, it's crappy again. So it's kind of like this like you have these two. I'll go reverse because it's like here's New York City, here's Philly, and then like in between the two, you have a lot of farmland, mountains, and then on the coastline, you have obviously the beaches. And then so there's a lot of nice areas, and then they're kind of sandwiched by two city hellholes. So it's like,
a wavy line of quality.
Yeah.
State
Well, yeah,
of
because right outside of New York City, you have a lot of the worst areas in New Jersey. You got your Pattersons, your Newarks, your stuff like that. Then you go outside of Philly, you have Camden, not good areas.
Okay. All right. I'll have to be sure not to visit those spots if I ever go to Jersey. I don't want to get mugged. Don't want to get mugged.
I actually went to school in Newark. So I have like the white boy city walk down. You just throw on your hood and just walk in a straight line. Very serious the whole time.
Don't stop.
It just don't stop. They don't even bother. Just like that motherfucker's crazy.
That's funny, man. Sly Jester's up, man. Southpaw was a good boxing movie. I need to see that one. I haven't seen that one yet.
I saw it once. It's good. It's good. I have to go back and watch it again though.
All right, so Brown Eyes here. He likes Time Cop. Nice, cheesy, and cringy 80s. I like the cringe. I like the cringe of this. It was fun. Cringe could be a good time. Brown Eyes. We got to crack open the great sci-fi plethora for Brawler and show him the light. He will be born anew. Yeah, sounds like it. Sorry, Brown Eyes. You know, you're showing me the way, man. You're showing me the way. Miss Sparkles. I like Van Damme a lot, so I know a lot about him. He is a fun watch. So it doesn't sound like he's had that many big titles, though. I mean, I think you mentioned maybe 5.
So he definitely slowed down toward the end of the 90s. I think I still have his IMDb up. Yeah. Here we go. No, it was his Wikipedia, which I just find to be a superior thing. Yeah, toward the tail end of the 90s, he that was kind of like his peak out, beginning of 2000s. Then he just kind of didn't have much going on for a while. JCVD, that show that I told you about, came out in 2008, which was fun. Then they kind of started bringing him back for these series. He was, they brought him back for Universal Soldier again, Expendables he was in. I think they brought him back for, he did a voice for Kung Fu Panda. They brought him back for Kickboxer Vengeance. He made a return to all of the things that made him famous.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Cool. All right. Luke's back. Poor Luke. He wasn't feeling too good today. I wish there was training montage of Chong Li. That'd be cool.
Well, there was a very short one in the beginning where he's like kicking ice blocks in half, but
I must have missed that. Huh.
It's very quick.
Files.
Right in the first like 5-10 minutes of the movie.
Man. Speaking of remakes, I recently learned that the first Halo game came out on Atari, and it's still going. Cool, man.
What?
Ooh, Sly Jester, like and subscribe, or this Florida man will commit your sorry ass all over the trailer park. Yep, listen to Sly Jester, guys. Like and subscribe. Check out Dark Hour. Very nice of him to join us. Brown Eyes of Mandalore. Play the Lord of the Rings Shadow of War games. It's like Middle Earth Assassin's Creed. Yes. Oh my gosh. Shadow of War is phenomenal. Did you play those?
I played the first one. Which one was that? That was Shadow of Mordor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played that one, and then I found it to be so easy that I just didn't go back to the series.
Oh, you need to play the second one. The second one's way better. It's unlike any game they've ever made. I mean, you literally develop an army of orcs and conquer kingdoms. It's pretty sweet.
I just looked this up, by the way. Halo 2600 was made in 2010. It was literally a game made for the Atari 2600 over 30 years after the fact.
Wow, that's weird.
It was like
going back to the classics. Nice.
Yeah. Quite literally, I've seen that. I used to go to the PAX East convention in Boston, and there was this one guy who literally all he did was develop games for old systems. He would he would have a booth, and every year he would have like a new game for SNES or something.
That's cool.
So that's like his passion project that he just liked to make games for old systems.
It's weird how my pops and me, we were playing Xbox 360 at his house, and it's so weird. All of it, the system is gone now. You know what I mean? You can't there's a lot missing there. It's just so weird, revisiting it, and it's no longer relevant. They're not. That's it. You'll never get another 360 game ever again. It's just strange.
Well, that's don't say never. I mean, like I said, no one ever expected there to be another Atari 2600 game in 2010, but somebody made one.
Those are probably easy to make now, right? I mean, you just got to
Oh yeah,
produce
those
it.
are simple. Anybody who can develop for a modern system can easily develop something for Atari. Or
I wonder how advanced they could make it now.
It's very limited in its scope of what it can do. So.
That's a shame. That'd be cool if they did something crazy. Rachel Percy Art must be a friend of yours, Dark Hour. The snack is back.
One of my super fans.
Nice. Yep, Dark Hour's a midnight snack. All right. Okay, good. Let's see here.
What's your go-to midnight snack? Like, let's say you get hungry in the middle of the night. Let's just look. Because like I'm probably gonna eat something right after this. Like,
well, let's see. So all right, tell me if this is weird or not. But when I go to the theater, I pretty much always get a large buttered popcorn. Large every time.
Well, I just meant like if you go to your refrigerator in your
house. Oh, well, I know. So this is part of it though, because I go every week and I'll buy the large and I'll just take it home when I'm done. And I just hold on to it. And I'll eat it.
Don't you have that issue where it just doesn't feel the same though? It's like
but it's still good enough. I don't know.
So my go-to, if I like wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like I can't, because for years I used to, when I competed, I would go to bed hungry all the time because I would weigh in. So there was nights where I just would not, I wouldn't have eaten for 48 hours. And I was just starving. You go to this refrigerator just to drink milk, just to have something in your stomach to fall asleep. Mm-hmm. And so, but like my go-to eventually became very simple. It's just a cheese sandwich, mayonnaise, and just like American cheese. And that's just like my go-to if I'm hungry in the middle of the night. It's like, sometimes I'll toast it. Sometimes I'll like do like a ghetto, grilled cheese, but.
Wow. I don't know. That doesn't sound very good, bro.
It's just because it's something I can make. It's
comforting.
It makes me not hungry, and then I go back to sleep. It's not like I don't do it for like I'm not trying to make a gourmet cheese sandwich. I'm just like I want to get to bed.
Man, I want to see what that looks like. I've never had the urge to just have a cheese sandwich, unless it was like a grilled cheese. Those are good.
So basically, so essentially it's from my years of just trying to put something in my stomach so I could fall asleep. That's what it comes from. And I guess I just got used to dairy being my thing.
So you were in the martial arts stuff seriously then. I mean, if you're
I competed for let's see, from 2010 until probably about 2019. I think I've competed a couple of times since, but not the same way. Like I used to compete like every other week. Like I was always competing. I used to. I don't know where they are. I have a box full of medals somewhere around. I just tossed it out. Just like it's like I don't know exactly where they are, but maybe I'll find them later. But it's like I've won my share, lost my share. I probably have more wins than losses, but. It's in the end, it was something I did for a while. It's hard to become a professional, anything, but especially a professional athlete.
Oh yeah.
And after a while, I used to compete at 168. It was my walking weight. I would cut down.
And you were 6'1", huh?
6'1", yeah. I'm about 225 now. I feel like, I'm a lot bigger than I used to be. But
for 6'1", I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tall. I'm 195 and I'm 5'11".
Yeah. So I used to no pesto. No, I hate fucking pesto. Don't even mention pesto. I hate pesto. It's like just thinking about pesto. But I used to like I competed at the Pan Ams a couple of times for the IBJJF. I've done a number of tournaments. I never really won anything big, unfortunately. It wasn't in the cards, but
it's interesting how humbling, fighting somebody is, even if you win, even if you do well, it's always humbling. It's surprising. You wouldn't think it'd be that way, but it is. It's always been that way for me.
Truth be told, I actually would feel bad when I won. I felt bad because I was like, I just stopped another person's like dream, their progression. I was just like, so it was like this weird love-hate relationship I had with competing. So.
Yeah.
Eventually, when I hit right around when I got close to like once I hit 30, I was just like, I'm not really. This isn't my thing anymore.
You're done. Yeah, and like you said, concussions. It's like even when I sparred, and we'd wear headgear and everything, but it's like I can't function anymore. I can't think straight. I have to I have to go to work and think, and you just can't. For me, even boxing, I'm not even getting kicked in the head, and I still couldn't. I still just can't function. So I just haven't done it in a while. So I don't know how you're still doing it.
Well, I don't do any striking anymore. Though I did recently. So I teach at a school that is an MMA school, and they keep they were like, "Oh, you should do. You should stuff." I just recently went and bought gloves and stuff, so I'm probably gonna get back into it. Honestly, I've been choked unconscious probably a dozen times in my life. So it's, that is the weirdest feeling, might I add. That is the strangest feeling. I'll tell you, this is what it's like to be choked unconscious. For anybody who's never been and has always wondered, you just go limp. You just your brain shuts off, and then what ends up happening is it's like a reboot. You have to relearn where you were, and a lot of times you wake up on your laid out on your back because you got choked. So you fall over, they put you on your back, and the first time it happens, it's confusing as shit. You're just you're like, this isn't my room. What's going on? It's happened to me enough times now where when I wake up, I'm just like, I was out, right? And they were like, yeah, you're out. But the my favorite one. This is my favorite one of all time. This happened at actually. I was training at Dante Rivera's. He's a former UFC fighter. I was training at his school for a little while, and one of his blue belts, I was a blue belt at the time, put me out with something I didn't even realize I was in. But I wasn't fully out. I was like 95% of the way there, but my brain was still kind of functioning, and I was talking to myself, talking myself through it in my own head, subconsciously. I was like, dude, bro, you're out, man. You're you're unconscious right now.
That's crazy. Maybe you're dead.
Yeah, basically it is. And when you wake up, it's at first you get really you're super confused. You're looking around, you're trying to piece together what happened. The more experienced you are, the easier it is to piece together. And then the next thing that happens is you get really energized. You're just want to run through a wall energy because all the blood rushes to your brain. So all the oxygen hits at once. Then it starts to balance out. You get tired and really thirsty. It's everything kind of just hits at once, and it's one of the weirdest things. I've never been knocked out. I've been concussed, but I've never been knocked out. But I have this sneaking suspicion it's very similar.
Man, that's freaky. Yeah, getting knocked out. Jeez, I would never want that to happen. That'd be awful. I've never been choked out either, so that's interesting hearing that perspective.
Just happens. It's unfortunate. It's a thing when you think about it. I've been doing it for 16 years. I've been choked 12 times. That's less than one time a year. That's
good record. Of a choke it's expected, man. I mean, that's expected. What you guys are doing crazy stuff on the floor, and
I've put out maybe 3 people in my time. So and that feels worse because you're
poor bastard. Yeah, literally.
I remember one time I was helping this guy get ready for a fight. It was a championship fight. He was an amateur fighter, but it was a championship fight. And we did what's called King of the Mountain. One person goes in, you fight him. Next person goes in, you fight him. And I was his first guy, and I choked him unconscious in his 3 days before his fight for his camp. And I was and he just woke up and looked at me disappointed.
Wow, you bastard. Man. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to end it for the stream today. Dark Hour, I think it's safe to assume that you would recommend the viewers check out Bloodsport.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I would always I say that this is one. So I always do with most actors, I do their trifecta, their holy trinity, if you will. And for Jean-Claude Van Damme, my holy trinity for him is Bloodsport, Kickboxer, and Universal Soldier. And those are the 3 that I suggest to people.
Okay, cool. Great. So you got to recommend from Dark Hour. And I definitely recommend it too. You want something fun to watch. I wish this would play in theaters again because you really just don't get this kind of quality of film anymore at all. There's nothing else like it. They in no way try to reinvent this style. It's just fun. You're going to have a great fun time and nothing too crazy, great background noise or, just a fun date. So make sure to check out Bloodsport if you haven't yet already, for younger audiences. Hopefully younger people watch this too. I know I think I attract some of the younger viewers. So if you haven't seen Bloodsport or you don't know Jean-Claude Van Damme, be sure to check out his work because this is a great entry and you're going to like him. He's a pretty cool guy. And thank you most of all, Dark Hour, for joining me today. It was a real pleasure having you on. A great guest. You know, I've known you for quite some while in the YouTube space, known about you. And so it's a lot of fun having you on here. So thanks for joining me, man.
My pleasure's all mine, man. You reached out and it's funny because I have a really in-depth schedule that I use for my show. And you've been on the like people to have on for a while.
Oh, that's
I just kept forgetting to reach out because for a little while I was booking for other people and it just got all convoluted. But we're gonna have you on in July.
Yeah,
yes,
like
July.
That.
Yeah.
For the Patriot. I'm excited.
Yes, that's why I
love
July.
that. I love the Patriot. I can't wait to talk about that. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Stay tuned for that and be sure to check out Dark Hour's work as well. I'm assuming you're probably going to be giving a review for Karate Kid soon, right?
Yes, that actually might drop day of. It's already because I saw the movie already. I won't tell anybody in the chat. I told you backstage. I won't tell you in the chat. But the I might drop that Friday.
Nice.
Thursday seems a bit early because that's the day it comes out. I don't think I think people would not even really bother. They might not even realize it's out yet. I think I might drop it Friday.
Okay, cool. So stay tuned to that Friday, everybody. And Luke and I were also going to be back Thursday night at I think 8:30 p.m. And we're also going to be talking about it, giving our live reaction. So be sure to check that out. Then this Friday, we're also doing something pretty interesting. We're doing a May film roundtable. So we're going to be doing the tier system. You know, you got S tier, you got A tier, B tier, and C tier, whatever else. And we're doing that with the May movies. And I'm pretty excited. So I'm going to be having a few guests on for that. And we're going to be talking about all the last May movies and see if we're going to sum up what's the best content for you to watch. You know, some of the new films you might want to ignore, avoid, even the smaller ones we're going to be talking about. So if you'd like to check that out, try something new, join us Friday night. That's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed what we had to say today, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to Dark Hour. Of course, you probably already are, but be sure to do that. Subscribe to his channel and give us some support. We really appreciate you. But as always,